Hello everyone, it's Amy, and welcome back for week 53 of Build Your Stash and Craft. I'd like to thank every one of you for making last year such a wonderful year, and we're just going to continue on from where we left off. I hope that you all had an outstanding Christmas, and I hope that you have a wonderful new year. And this week, what we are going to need to pick up for this week is any type of a notebook. I had one of these just in my art room because I haven't had a chance to get out and do any shopping. So we're going to call this $1 because you can get different types of notebooks at the Dollar Tree for $1. I got this one actually for a nickel at Walmart when they had their after school or their school time sales. But what we're going to do is we are going to make ourselves a book, a reference book for our Build Your Stash and Craft. And this book will hold our embellishments. We'll like one of each embellishment, and then we will have our notebook where we can write down what we did and how we did it, what our supplies were, and that type of thing, so that sometime when you're thinking, oh, I want to do something, but I don't know what to do, you can just look through your reference book, and or if you forgot how you did something, you'll have your instructions here, or even you'll know what week if you write the week down so that you can go back and reference the video for the instructions. So what we're going to do is we are going to put our book into a cereal box, and I have a cornflakes box here. This was the widest box that I had, so I chose this, and this was the only one that was big enough to actually hold this book inside. So if you have smaller boxes, you can always get like a composition book or something because that's smaller, because I wanted my notebook to fit completely inside without sticking out the edges. Of course, that wouldn't really hurt anything. But so what I did with my cornflakes box was, when you have the side that comes this way, and that's where they glued it together, I carefully separated that so that this flap stayed pretty decent. And then just separated the other side, and then I just measured how wide this was and cut the same width on this side so that both my front cover and my back cover were both the same width from edge to edge, and that is wide enough to hold this book. So, and then I have two other cereal boxes, and with all of the cereal boxes I just cut off the tops and cut off the bottoms, and then and cut off the extra edge, except like I said with this one I saved a little bit of that edge on there. And so I have two more boxes here, and what I did with those, cut off the top, cut off the bottom, cut off the side that was glued together, and you have to do that separately. Don't ever cut your box this way and then cut off your side, because if you do, your boxes will not be, your front and your back cover will not be the same size. So whenever you cut off an edge, actually cut off the edge on this side and then cut off the edge on this side so that you still have your full front and back. And then what I did with the other side here was originally my cornflakes box is 3 inches wide, and I'm going to tell you how I messed it up just so that you don't do the same thing, because yours can be any size that you want. So I measured this, it's 3 inches wide. I need a 1/2 inch for this, which meant that left me with 2.5 inches. So I made each one of my boxes 1 1/4 inches wide on this flap. When I put them, because they're going to go in like this, when I put them in there, one fit right here, and then the other one fit here like that. But so this one would be right against the front cover, this one was right against my other thing, so I only had just these two little spaces, which I wanted more than that. So what I did was I've got 2.5 inches here, so I just came over just over an inch, and that is where I'm going to put my first box. And so what I did was I cut these approximately just over 1/2 inch and then just glued the two pieces together so that they make like this. And then I'm going to put this one right here so that when I have my flap, there's going to be a gap, and then there's a gap here, and then I have this one, and I'm going to put this box just over 1/2 inch away from that one, so there'll be a gap there, and there will be a gap there, and then these two will actually fit right up against each other. But so that will give us spaces to put our embellishments, that are up to a 1/2 inch wide. So we're going to put our embellishments right in here, just one of them, one of each one, and so that way we have those for reference. And so what I did was I just cut this just over 1/2 inch because that's what's going to fit in my spine. Same thing here, just cut it on each side like that, and then just glue them together. And then we're just going to glue them together like this, so that actually it's almost kind of like a book spine that's going to go inside our big book spine. I'm going to move this out of the way so I can press this down. Now, before I actually, and then I'm going to just glue this into my spine. But before I do, I am going to go and sand all of this, and I'm going to sand all of this, and I'm going to sand all of this. So because this shiny on here makes it hard, and I'm going to collage some of our dendritic prints and some jelly prints, and I'm going to collage on here, and so I want my glue to stick and I want my paper to stick. So we need to sand off this shiny. When you sand, you don't have to get rid of all of the color, you have to get rid of all of the shine so that your glue will stick nicely and whatever you glue on there will stay. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you how to put the whole thing together as soon as I get that done. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I have all of my boxes all sanded real well, but like I said, you don't have to get off the color, and I do have a few spots here that I could not really, well, I could have if I tried really hard to get into, but this is going to be glued into our actual book, so I don't need to cover that, so I'm not going to worry that there's a little bit of shine there. But anywhere where I was going to glue to, I am going to make sure that I get the shine off. So, but this is just my front cover. I made some water glue or decoupage glue or whatever you want to call it, and it's just 2 parts glue to 1 part water. And so I'm just going to take some of the prints that we made over the last year and just glue them on here. And because this is the actual cover, I am going to do the spines. The others, I don't have to do the spine. And I like to put my papers over the fold of the spine, not real close to the edge, like that's kind of half and half, so that when I fold it, it doesn't come off. But I do like to do that, and that's just the way that I choose to do it. I like my papers to be torn, and again, that's just something that I like to do. And I also put them over the edges and then go back in and trim them off after it's all dry, because then I know that I don't have like a spot where I miss the edge or something like that. And I literally just grabbed a whole bunch of the prints from this year and just thought that I would put some of those on there. And then the one thing I wanted to say is what I'm working on here is it's a desk calendar. And this is kind of the good time of year to keep your eyes open. If you work at a business where you give out desk calendars, and maybe they didn't use them all, they make great backgrounds to work on. And then you can also use them once you get all the color on them. You can use them even for decoupaging like this, or you can use them for something. You can use them in journals or anything like that. So it's a good time of year to look out for the desk calendars and see if you can find one here. There, maybe your insurance company might be giving them away, you know, at this time of year, or somebody you work with or deal with. So you might want to check around and see if you can find some. So because the ones that I have here come from the company I used to work for, and actually they were misprints. And so one of the gentlemen that was working at the company, when these were misprinted, I wasn't working at the time. I had already left my job to stay home and take care of my mom, but he knew I did crafty things, so he called me and said, hey, you know, we're going to throw these away. Do you think you can use them? I don't like straight edges, so I'm going to tear that one off. And so I told him, sure. And so he gave me quite a few of these. and I use them all the time. I just love them. So, and I try not to be wasteful with them because I got them for free and because I have so many of them, you know, sometimes it's easy to go, oh, well, let's just get a new page. So I do definitely try and, you know, make sure that I use them up until I can't use them anymore. I usually have kind of cleaner ones, or try and have kind of cleaner ones on this so that it's not distracting. But then they go into my art room for me to use there. So I don't actually, when they disappear from here, they're not actually gone. But sometimes with the background being, you know, like very, very colorful, sometimes that distracts from what I'm trying to do, so. But, and also at this time of year, calendars themselves, like at the Dollar Tree, sometimes they start selling them 2 for $1 in about a month or so. And so that really makes for great pictures for your journals and everything. So, you know, you may want to keep your eyes open for those too. And even the ones that you get from, you know, different companies, some of them have really gorgeous pictures on them. So this is our see-through tissue paper that we made earlier this year. And I'm going to put that kind of like right in here. Take that off because it's really bent. I'm not going to put it on the box because I just realized when I went to put it there, you can see the recipe for crispy shrimp. I don't really care for shrimp a lot, so I don't think I would like that. Not a seafood person. So this is what I'm going to do. And on the inside ones, I think I'm going to put the tea-dyed paper because it's not as distracting. And so I think that once we start, you know, putting our embellishments in there, we don't want whatever's behind them to be real distracting. So if we put our tea-dyed papers on the inside, and I may even just put the tea-dyed papers in and on the part that is just cardboard, like I'll put the tea-dyed papers here, and I think I may leave these just like they are, so that when I put my embellishments, they show up. The background is not too busy. So I am just going to flip that around because I want that straight edge where I'm going to cover it. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to finish doing this whole cover and then put some tea-dyed papers. Oops. Put some tea-dyed papers on the others and let them dry, and then I will be back and we'll put the thing together, and then I'll show you how I'm going to use it this year. Be right back. Okay, I'm back and everything is dry. So actually it's dried for a couple of days. Now I do have a little bit of warping going on, and I kind of, you know, finagled it just a little bit, but time-wise, I need to get my video done so that I can get it up for you on Tuesday, and so I'm not going to mess with the warping too much, and it's not really going to matter anyways. So here is my front cover, and then here are my two inserts, and you know, see, they're a little bit warped, but that's okay because by the time you put your embellishments in it, those differences in the way that they're going actually may help you out a little bit. So what we're going to do is now we're just going to put it all together. So the first thing I'm going to do is, this is going to be the front cover of my book. I'm going to put my book at the back, my notebook, and I'm putting it on the back because it's heavy. And so this is the most solid place for it to be. Now I'm going to string that on. I'm going to tie it on with a piece of string. So I have a piece of string here, and the way I'm going to get that string through there the easiest is just take a piece of your wire. I didn't take it off the roll. I just kind of unrolled it a little bit, and then just put a little bit of a hook in the top. And you want that hook to be small enough, just U-shaped like that, and small enough to fit right up the spine of your notebook and just slide it all the way up there. There it comes out the top. And then what you're going to do is just take your string and put the end of it through there. And now what I'm going to do, so that here's our hook. And if we try and go that way, it's going to catch on every one of those wires all the way down. So we're going to go over and up. So now it looks like this. So now our wire is pointing straight up. And then what we're going to do is just pull that right back through. And there we go. We got it through. And I'm just going to take the notebook, close my cover, and I'm just going to tie it in. Right now I'm just going to tie it with a really quick bow, but what I will do is in a little while, when I have Papa's help, I will have him put his finger on there and hold it, and then I will put a knot and a bow. And then I'm just going to leave my bow right up towards the top. And that's how I'm going to hook that in there. Also, I am going to glue this to the back cover. I'm going to glue the back cover of my notebook to the back cover of my bits book. And I'm going to do that just to make it even more sturdy. So I'm just going to get some glue on there. Because it's tied in, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just gives us a little bit of extra strength. And then I'm going to put this in here and I'm going to line it up with the bottom so that when I set my book up, there's no weight pulling on my book. And I'm going to line it right up with the edge of my spine so that when I fold it up, it will be tight against here and it will go into the spine. So line your wires right up with the line of your spine. The line of my spine is right here, and that's right where my wires are also, so that it folds in like that. I'll pull it down just a little bit. I didn't quite get it to the bottom. Okay, give it a good press. And then what I'm going to do with my, and these ones I only did on the outside, I left the inside. If I decide that I want to put something on here, I would put tea dye papers because I like that they don't distract from what you put in there. But I ran out of tea dye paper, so if I do that, I'll do that at a later date. And I'm going to glue this spine. And then I just put some lines in here where I thought that I would line it up at, just leaving a gap. And I'm also going to line this up at the bottom. Down here, I'm lining it up at the bottom. And the reason I put the lines on there is just so that I could put it in straight. And give that a good press. Now, it looks like I have a large gap here, but when you close this, there's actually just around 1/4 of an inch between the two, between the back cover of this one and our writing journal. So there, we've got that one there. There we go. And then I'm going to take my final one. Now that one did not stick down. And what I'm going to do when I'm all done showing you how to put it together is I'm going to go set this on my counter. Still trying to get that where it belongs. I'm going to go set this on my counter and I'm going to set a heavy book on here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a thin book and I'm going to set it this way in here, and I'll put another thin book inside of this one, just like that, so that they are standing up inside there, holding that down, and then I will let it dry that way. Now when I put this next one on again, there's going to be a gap between the two, and then I'll have this space, and then I will also have, this one's going to line up right here, I will have a gap here at the front between this one and the front cover. Okay, so now what we're going to do with those, leave that one just like that for a second, is these areas are where we're going to put our 3D embellishments. And you can put those in with glue. You can put them in, you can poke holes in your cardboard and put them through the hole, depending on what it is. Like our decorated paper clips, you could put a little slice in your cardboard and put your decorated paper clip right through that slice. I do have another line here to line this one up. And again, it's just going to depend on how fat your cover is as to how big this gap will be. I did not really measure these gaps. I just kind of said, this looks like a good spot, and drew a line. And I measured it over so that I made sure that both lines, both little marks that I put on there were straight. And I want to make sure I line this up with the bottom. And I do want to look and make sure that it looks like it's straight. And it does not, so I'm going to move that over just a bit. Check my gap. That looks straight. And that looks straight. Okay. Now I'm going to have to let this dry a little bit, but I'm going to show you how to put in your embellishments. I'm going to show you what the back is for. The writing part is to keep track of whatever it is, and it doesn't just have to be for this series. If you make something and you really like it, then I would suggest put one of them in your book so that you have it for reference later on. So, and what I've done is I just started, and this is going to be my Build Your Stash book. And then I just started with week 1 was our intro, week 2 was our decorated paper clips, and then I wrote down here how we made them. Week 3 was our storage jars, and I wrote down here how we made them. Now with our storage jars, obviously I'm not going to put a storage jar in here, but that just lets me, if you can look through and go, oh, do I want to do that? Do I want to do that? Do I want to do that? Oh, I think I'll do that. Well, it's not in here, but your directions on how to do it and what you used are in here. And then with other things, like I have this is one of the little decorated clothespins that we made, or pegs. And so you could, if you wanted, you could stick it out the top of your book just like that, so that it would stick out the top. Or you can put a slice into your cardboard. Let's see here. I'm going to put this ruler behind here because I did not bring my cutting board out. And I'm just going to put a little slice in here. And I do have a book like this that I started a while back. And most everything that I put in, I glued in. You don't want to put a whole ton of slices in your book, because I'm just going over and putting the slice on the other side. There we go. I'm just going to stick a pencil in there. And then I can take my little clip and put it right in there, just like that. And there, now there's our clip. Now, because we made these about 1/2 inch wide, when we close our book, oops, sorry, can't see that. When we close the book, you can it fits right in there. And then that will stay in there. And then you can put things on this side because you're going to have a gap. You've got things in here. You can put things in the middle, there, and there. So what I will do, and you don't have to put them in order of like, oh, well, I'm going to start right at the cover, and week 1 will go here, and week 2 will go here. You can if you want to. But if you say, oh, well, I want to put like all of my like red and orange things on this page, and all of my green and things on this page, and my yellow on this page, you know, you can go through and decide if you want to do them by colors, if you want to do them by things that you can clip on and dangle off, and things that are, you know, flatter or whatever. You can take your paper clip, and I think I am going to leave my paper clip hang out the top because I like the way that looks. You can take things like your little toilet paper embellishments and just glue those in. And then what I do next to these, and I do it in pen so that I can see it, but our little paper clip, I believe, was, what week was that, peg? Okay, this is a decorated paper clip. Oh, I haven't even got the pegs in here yet. And I'm going to go and I'm going to write all 52 weeks in here, and then I'm going to just continue with this next year also, so that it's all kind of together. We'll see how much I actually can fit in here. Like, see the accordion envelope? Well, I'm not going to put a big one in there, but I did make a little one at the same time, and I might put that little one in here. Or you could put a big one in here, maybe glue it across the back, and then use that to put flat things in that you don't want to glue on, and you can just look through it. But so week 2 was our decorated paper clips. Let me just be sure because I don't want to mess it up. Decorated paper clips, week 2. So I just go in the area of that, and I'm just going to write week 2, so that when I look through my book and I say, oh yeah, I want to make some of those. Well, if I have the week there, I can go straight to it in my instructions and find it very easily. So that's how you put these together. I'm not going to put it together and show it to you at the end, because I do now have to go and make it so that it can dry, and I have to put it up tomorrow, so I won't have time to let this dry and complete my book and get all of my things in here before tomorrow. So I wanted to show you how to put this all together, and then you can decorate your front however you want to. And it will probably take me a couple of weeks to get mine all put together. And so what I'm going to do is, when I do eventually get it all put together up to whatever week we're at that time, then I'll show you what it looks like. So I really do appreciate you watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. But yes, this will be a nice, this is what it looks like from the top. And eventually, well, actually, by the time I finish week 52, this is probably going to be really pretty full. So, and then you can put, like, these are dendritic prints that we did, and jelly plates, and shaving cream color. And so you can take those pieces, and also you can like make strips of them as you make them, and maybe put them on your front cover. You can, if you do the accordion envelope, you can put them in there, or when you write it out in your book, then you could put a strip of it across there, so that you'll have your papers also. And if you want to add things in later, I think, going to tie these two in also. I will put a tie through them. That'll just be for a little extra security, but then also that string's going to go through the middle of here, and I can fold those prints in half, cut a strip, fold it in half, and put it on the string in the middle. So, and let me show you what we're going to need for next week. Excuse me. I saw some wax type paints, and I really wanted to play with them, but they were like, I think they were like $8 for one color, and I didn't want to do that. So I tried to figure out what I wanted to use to make our own wax colors. And I went to the store and just kind of looked around. I knew that there were a few things I needed. They were wax colors, so I needed wax. And a lot of times when you're looking at labels, it'll say paraffin. That's wax. I also knew that I needed something to soften the wax, so something like Vaseline, which is petroleum jelly. And those two things together would be kind of soft. So I looked around. I was thinking something like a soft chapstick, but if we did that, you'd have to buy one chapstick for every color that would be quite expensive. So I looked and looked. I did find some hand creams, but they were expensive. They were like $10 or $12. And so what I did find was this I got at Walmart, and it's called Soft Sheen Carson Sport and Waves Gel something with Wavitrol. It's a gel formula. It goes on easily and it rinses out clean. This is a wax, and it is a what you're looking for basically, which is going to sound like an oxymoron, but it's a soft hard wax. So it's not hard like wax, but it's not soft like a real gel. This is the consistency of it. And so basically it's a wax that has Vaseline in it, and the Vaseline is what makes it soft, but not too soft. If it was a gel, it would be too soft. So this is what we're looking for, something that is a soft wax. And again, I got this at Walmart, and I got it in the department where in the hair care section. So, and it's in the hair care section where they put together a lot of different products for African American people, and so this is something that they use in their hair. And so if you look in that department at Walmart, you should be able to find this. This was $2.50. And then I also got these Wilton's icing colors at Walmart. Now these are concentrated gel, and it won't thin icing, it says. Now they have little like bottles of gel. These are little jars, and they are super concentrated. So you really want the Wilton's ice coloring, or some kind of a coloring that is a gel that won't thin icing, because the other ones are a gel, but they're a watered down gel kind of, and so they're going to water down your wax, and you don't really want to do that. So the primary colors, concentrated gel, these were $3.50, and so we have $2.50 and $3.50 is $6. And then we are going to need little storage containers from the dollar store. Now, when I went and bought them, and I've done this a couple of times, I got these ones. This is a 6 count, and they are this size. And I would not have had enough to make all 6 colors with how much wax that I had in here, and this stuff goes a long ways. So I should have got the one. It looks just like this, but it says 8 count. Right here it says 8 pieces, and it's only this size. So this is the size that you want to get, and then you'll also get 8 colors instead of just 6. But these are a little bit too big. You can use them, and if you do get these because you can't maybe get these, just put them like halfway, because that's just too big. If you were to fill that up with color, you would go through all of your wax and not be able to complete all 6 colors. But if you do this size, you'll get 8 colors and still have a little bit of wax left over. So that's what we're going to need for next week. I got both of these at Walmart. We had $7 in our bank, or we had $12 in our bank when we started our book this week. We spent $1, so that put $4 more in our bank. That was $16. For next week, we are going to spend $7, so we'll have to take $2 out of our bank, and that will leave us with $14. Is that right? 12 and 4 is 16. Yes, take 2 out of there, and we'll have $14 left in our bank. So this is what we need for next week, and this is what we did this week. I will show you in a while. It's because it's definitely going to take me a while. If I would have started this at the beginning of last year, and you could start this and just start it for this year too. But yes, I do love having the different things where I can see them, and you can put things on the front too. Like you could put that right on the front. So, and then you could just literally write right underneath of it whatever week this was that we made this, so that if you look at it and think, I want to do that, you can go straight to your notebook and get your instructions. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.